This is a new angle from us. Hi, I'm filming this at the end, but I forgot to put this at the beginning. I am leaving in about a week. I am hopefully uploading Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the week before I leave, so this will be one of those videos. So if you would like to keep up with my life and see more videos, please subscribe because I will be here all the time. And now we're just gonna start actually talking about what you came here for. But hello, welcome back. Again, this is a weird angle for us. We're a little bit higher, but I don't know. Let me know how you feel about it. So earlier in the week I did a video on whether I think people should vlog their Disney college program or not, whether you should, the general public. You get the gist. I'll have that linked up in the cards where I kind of go over reasons that people should or shouldn't, and you can see where you fall in there. But I thought I would do kind of a follow-up video for people who do decide to still vlog it and do decide that they're like the right kind of person for it. My like tips and tricks to start, because I feel like YouTube is really intimidating. Even now, I've been on this platform for like 10 years and I still am low-key scared. So I have some notes. I titled my notes Disney Vlogger Starter Pack ? These are just some things that like I want to tell you if you've never filmed a YouTube video in your whole life, or like only like, I feel like people like upload them like singing and doing stuff like that. This is like if your Disney college program is gonna be your first like adventure into vlogging, what I think you should know, and kind of like my tips from someone that exists on the internet constantly. So my first one is that you don't need a fancy setup. Obviously I'm filming with a nicer camera now. This is a Canon G7X Mark II, but if you watch my haul video where I go over a bunch of stuff that I purchased, you would know this camera is brand new. I just got her. This is literally like the 5th video I think I'm uploading on this camera, maybe not even that. It's brand new. Before that, I filmed with a Sony DSC-WX5000, which is like a little bit lower end, but it's still a point and shoot camera that I really liked. And I know people that have filmed on their iPhones. You don't need a fancy camera. The only reason that I got this camera is because I used my old one. I've had it since at least 2013, because I know I took it to Vegas with me in 2013. So I've had that camera for a long time, and I've uploaded consistently twice a week since February probably, and I use my camera almost every day. I know I use it a lot. I think it's got its worth. I just wanted like somewhat of an upgrade. It wasn't very good in low light, and I knew that would be a lot of what I was doing at Disney. This is kind of like my now forever camera. You don't need to go and spend $1,000 on a camera. That old camera that I had was perfectly fine. You saw it. I vlogged with it last year. I had no issues. I don't want to say I prefer it, but I think it's more user-friendly than this one here. And I think it's like $400 now, and even that is so expensive. If you're vlogging your program as your first kind of endeavor into vlogging, you've never done it before, you don't need to buy a camera. I'm saying this now. I just upgraded my phone, so now I have the iPhone XR. It's a newer phone. The camera on this thing is insane. The video on this thing is also insane. If you have an iPhone 8 Plus or better, you pretty much have a fantastic camera. And even with my 7, which is an old iPhone, which now you can get for like $0 down, they're dirt cheap in like the phone world, that took pretty good video too. So if you have never filmed before, this is your first kind of startup. Start with your phone. Most people I feel like that are social media humans have iPhones. Start with your iPhone, and then if you really, really like it, then go get a camera. You don't need to go out and buy this camera that I'm using now that all the vloggers have. That's my #1 tip. Also, if you're someone who's starting just sitting in their room and filming like I do, you're starting with videos like this, you also don't need a fancy setup. For years and years and years, I was dead set that I wanted studio lighting, which are like big softbox lighting. Softbox? I was dead set that I wanted studio lighting, which are those big soft boxes that you'll see in like beauty people's, like, I don't know, setups. You don't need them. Right now, it's late. It is, I can't read a 24-hour clock. It's 6:45 at night. Like I said, this camera is pretty good low light, but it's 6:45 at night and I'm just sitting in front of a window filming. You can go watch any of my videos. I've never had artificial lighting unless it's like me just vlogging around and it's like my lights for my room. I always just sit in front of a window and film. Natural light is the best light. You'll get the best coloring. Everything shows up like the least amount of like graininess, and you look the most natural because it's natural light. You don't look yellow, you don't look blue. When in doubt, try to film with natural light. It'll be way better. You don't need a fancy setup. Related to that, you don't need fancy editing software. For the most part, people who are doing things like vlogging casually, you don't need a big setup. I use Final Cut Pro. I've been using it for about a year now. I really enjoy it, but I honestly only use the basic things. I use like zoom in, zoom out. I made my intro on a totally different program. I cut clips. I know how to add music in. Most things that you can do with iMovie, Windows Movie Maker if you're on PC, things like that. If you really want to, you can find downloadable versions of things that are that program that is a more expensive, like professional program, or something very close. But you don't need a fancy camera, you don't need a fancy setup, you don't need a fancy editing program. For the most part, you're just cutting and pasting and copying clips. So that's my big one. That's me trying to save you money. Don't go out and buy anything. Just start living your life now and see how it goes first. Same goes for things like thumbnails really quick. I was talking about you can find kind of knockoff programs for my thumbnails. I don't know how to use Photoshop. I don't have Photoshop. Photoshop is freaking expensive. I use Pixlr. It's essentially like the same thing as Photoshop, but it runs on a browser. I have the erase tool. I can do a little... What's this? I don't know. I can do a little like blur around me, and then I throw it into... What is the other one I use? I literally can't remember. I'll throw the name of it up here because I don't remember it. But everything that I use for thumbnails is free as well. You can learn pretty much anything from YouTube. I kind of just learned from doing things and starting things. I have no actual knowledge of cameras or computers or editing like formally. I just kind of learn stuff. Anything that you don't know, you can find on YouTube. I, for the longest time, was like, I don't know how to get a different font. I literally YouTubed how to get custom font in Final Cut Pro. There was a YouTube video. When I first used Final Cut, I had no idea how to use it. I literally was like, how to use Final Cut Pro basics, watch an hour-long video on it. Now I'm totally comfortable with it. Pretty much anything that you're wondering, you can learn from YouTube. Even down to your camera. There's videos that are like tips and tricks for Sony G7X, like filming styles, like how to make your footage look more professional. Use YouTube, utilize YouTube. It's a massive education platform at the end of the day. As much as it's for entertainment, there's so much you can learn. So if there's little things that you see other vloggers doing that you really like, try typing it vaguely, like how to this type, and you can probably find a video on how to do it. Even with their names sometimes, if they're huge, there's so many videos being like, how to edit a vlog like Casey Neistat. There's so many. Utilize YouTube. A big thing, especially if you're just filming with your phone or you're using like a lower end device, which is totally cool, do things to see how you can have the best quality possible and really utilize that device. Like I said, filming in natural light is really good. I really like filming in natural light. I think it looks the best. I think it looks less grainy. I think it looks less artificial filming in natural light. Duh, that's what it is. Make sure you're using the right settings on your software. So for a while, I felt like my things weren't uploading looking very well. Again, I used YouTube, I looked into it, I found out that I wasn't saving all my clips at the highest HD that I could in Final Cut because my intro was a different quality level than my actual clips that I was using. Super easy fix. Now my content looks better than it did before. Things like that. Make sure you're saving in the right quality, uploading, and you have that quality set. Make sure you're doing everything you can to get that highest quality without actually having to pay the price of upgrading your device or upgrading the systems that you're using. This even comes down to things like making sure that you're not covering the mic. This happens a lot, especially when I started using this new camera. I found when I was vlogging it was fine, but when I switched around to hold my camera looking at something, I would grab the camera like this and I had my fingers over the mic at the top so everything sounded muffled. So things like that, it happens on your phone too. If you look at your phone, your mic's at the bottom of your phone. If you are vlogging like this, you might be covering the microphone so you can't hear anything. Little things like that are nice to pay attention to. If you're using a cheap camera and you find that it has really bad sound quality with wind, there's so many videos on YouTube on like how to make a like cheap DIY wind muff, I'm pretty sure they're called, which is literally like taking a piece of fur and sticking it over the top of your microphone, and it'll cut down on all that wind noise that higher quality cameras naturally have that yours might not. So little things like that, using the right lighting, using the right settings, making sure that you're holding your camera the right way. Even like using things like a tripod can be really nice. You can get a cheap tripod, but I was using like a $10 Amazon one before. Things like that can elevate your content without actually having to do much, if that makes sense. And then my last kind of big one is just have fun. Be yourself. You're not trying to be an influencer. You're not trying to blow up for, I mean, I hope. Have fun. Don't focus on having like beautiful editing and all this B-roll to start out with and like awesome transitions and slow motions. It's not about that. It's just about taking moments that other people may not even get. I have videos that have jokes in it that like no one would get that joke, but like me and Kate probably. It's about taking those moments that you can see yourself enjoying and putting them all together and then being able to see it later and just being your best genuine self. I even like put out a sticker yesterday, I guess, on Instagram asking why people followed me, and a bunch of people were like, I think you're really funny, I think you're really real, I think you have genuine content, I think you're entertaining, things like that, which like thanks, my ego didn't need that, but thanks. But just being you, like if people want to watch you naturally, they will watch you. If you have a personality that is likable, which is funny because I don't think I necessarily have a likable personality, but like whatever, I'll take it. Put out content that you would want to see and put out content that is actually you. There's so many people, especially in the Disney community, that I feel like are so fake positive and like so like wanting to get clicks and making videos that have dramatic titles just for the sake of having videos with dramatic titles because they know more people will watch them. Don't be that person. I mean, your girl loves a good bad story time about a guest yelling at her every once in a while, but don't make that every video. Don't just sit down being like, what is going to be a video that gets me the most likes? Because it's not gonna work. Sorry. I say that as someone that has been on this platform for 10 years and has had a single video in the last year like work in favor of the algorithm. But just be you, just be fun, just be realistic, live your best life, all that stuff. So if you enjoyed hearing me ranting, if you think I was even moderately helpful, please I'm having a rough time, guys. Please feel free to subscribe. I am leaving very soon. I will be back to actual vlogging, which some people said that they would like, which I would also like more as well. Thank you. I'll be back to actually vlogging soon, and I'll be back in the park soon, so that's very exciting. Yeah, so please subscribe, follow along. If there's anything that you would like me to do, anything that you'd like to see once I'm back in Florida, hit me up. Your girl's down to do almost anything. All my links to everything else, including my Instagram, which I am on way more than this, will be down below. That's where it always is. And I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow if I'm not bad at this.